All right, welcome back to the Beast Game Podcast. This is a review for Marshall. It's directed by Reginald Hedlund. The writers are Jacob and Michael Kolskoff. It stars Chadwick Boseman, Josh Gad, and Kate Hudson. And the synopsis is about a young Thurgood Marshall, the first African-American Supreme Court justice, as he battles through one of his career-defining cases. And Keith, what is your viewpoint on Marshall?
Marshall was a solid film. Chadwick Boseman did a fantastic job. And even though I didn't really know the story of the case, so I was not expecting Josh Gad's character to be as prominent as it was. So it came off as very surprising to me that all that went down. Entertaining as heck. It was entertaining without getting preachy. It didn't put Thurgood Marshall up in this pedestal of he's the magical, amazing man who was just oppressed, but he did everything right. He definitely didn't come off as that. He came off as cocky, self-sure, and you got the impression that he was genuinely driven by what was going on, by the things that were happening. And Josh Gad's character, I thought was amazing. I think he did a great job. They had great chemistry. I thought Dan Stevens' character was a bit cliched. It's kind of like a waste of that guy's talent because he was actually pretty good. And I was actually surprised that even like the small role that Kate Hudson had and the way they kind of developed her character, kind of the angle they went with it, painted her in a sympathetic light as well. But I was just genuinely entertained by that film. The way they unraveled the mystery and kind of the way they paced it out and everything, it was well done. Kind of shocked at how much I liked it. Played it out like a courtroom drama.
It's right up my alley.
A lot of it was Josh Gad's character, who went from just an insurance lawyer, but to taking his case, realizes there's a lot of injustice going on, and he can make a difference.
Stop. Did they start focusing more on his story and Thurgood became like a secondary character?
No. You don't understand, dude. This was done by the Hudlin brothers. Basically, it was clear cut from the beginning that the star is Chadwick Boseman. The judge made a ruling in the case that Thurgood Marshall could not speak or present arguments during the entire case. Thurgood Marshall trying the case, but he was trying it through Josh Gad's character. During the course of that, because Thurgood Marshall was out of town, he wasn't part of the Connecticut bar, so he can't present an argument. Someone else that has passed that bar has to say, hey, this guy's going to take over for me, and here you go. Josh Gad's character has had a respectable business, a practice of doing insurance fraud, but then he gets thrust into this civil rights case. And at the end of it, he realizes that he's actually can do this because at one point, Thurgood Marshall, he has to get called away out of the courtroom for some issue with his wife. And Josh Gad's character is kind of left alone to kind of handle it and handle the examinations and stuff. So the two played against one another quite a bit. And their chemistry was pretty fantastic. Towards the end of it, after the arguments were presented, Thurgood Marshall's character ends up leaving. Marshall has to go because he's got to go to another thing. He and the NAACP have done what they could, and they're going to move on to the next guy. And because he's gone, he's leaving Josh Gad's character alone to present this trial that kind of represents this man's life. It definitely didn't take the focus away from that by making almost equal billing. It kind of gave it some authenticity because that's what apparently happened.
So what score would you give it?
It's a pretty solid movie. I recommend that anybody watch it. And I'll watch it again, definitely. Great chemistry with the actors. They didn't really mince anything. I'll give it a solid 8. It was a damn good film.
All right. So that's the Beast Gang Podcast. You can find more of our podcasts at beastgang.com, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.